Hello everyone, Umut here. Welcome to another art journal video. Before I start the project, I just want to stick two pages together because the notebook I'm using has quite thin pages. I got it from my local store, but it doesn't matter. If I stick 2-3 pages together, it will be very sturdy. I'm going to get rid of this blank page by sticking a tissue paper first. This is from Tissue Stock. I really like their papers. This has 6 big, I think it's 12 by 12 tissue papers that has a script on it. So I'm using my matte medium to stick this tissue paper on the journal. In the meantime, I can tell you, you will find the list of supplies I'm using today down below at the description area or in my blog. And when I am cutting this, you see a sneak peek of another journal page I did that you will see the video at a later time. To push this design to the back a little bit, I am using light gesso here, and also it will help me to prepare my page to apply paint. Today's art journal is actually for Women's Day, that's upcoming on 8th of March. The inspiration is coming from a very cute digital stamp that I got on Etsy. You will find later. I'm drying my pages and it's now time to apply some paint. I'm using my distress paints, shades of pink. You will see the names of the colors that I am applying on the screen. I'm applying my paint with its dabber or this baby wipe, but this baby wipe is almost dry, not to move the paint around. The paint is not coming through from this dabber. I am having difficulty, so I will just open it and drop some paint on my page to apply. Now I will switch to another shade of pink and again I had the same problem, it's not coming through the dabber, so I'm just dropping the paint on the page and applying with my baby wipe. And now I'm going to introduce the last color, which is the darkest one. As you see, I'm building my page slowly from the lightest color to the darkest color as I wish. And now I'm applying this with my hand to have a little bit darker color, and I am staying on the edges to kind of have a border on the page too. I'm going back and forth between colors to have a nice blend as well. Now my background is ready. I'm going to do some stamping as well. I'm using these 3 colors of inks to do some background stamping. And I'm going to use this stamp. It doesn't matter much. It's just to give some interest at the background. So I'm using the lightest color of ink. Again, I'm going with pink shades. And then I'm going to move to the darker color. However, it's a bit too dark and too vivid, so I'm doing some second generation stamping, stamping it first on a piece of paper and then on my book. Here is how it looks at the moment. I'm happy with the result. Now I'm going to work on my focal point. This is the super cute digital stamp that I mentioned you. It's from the Octopode Factory. You can find their stores in Etsy and I will put the link down below. This is a very cute design of Audrey Hepburn that I actually wanted to use for Women's Day. I'm going to color her with my Faber-Castell pencils. I'm not going to take you through all my coloring process. And here is the finished result. I used black for her dress and the hair, and you will see that I will embellish her a little bit afterwards. If you check their store, they have many more cute stamps that you can use. You can also arrange the size because it's a digital stamp. That's why I like to use them a lot. I'm going to stick this on my page with matte medium. I'm a fan of Audrey Hepburn and her quotes for women. That's why I chose this beautiful stamp for Women's Day. Now I'm going to do a little bit shading around her after drying the matte medium. I will just go around this stamp and use my Faber-Castell big brush marker and smudge it with my finger. I'm using a little bit darker shade than my page. So this will make this stamp more blended with the rest of the page. To add a little bit more visual interest to the page, I printed these film strips from internet. You can find them very easily. I'm just going to cut them and stick them on the page. It took me a long while to cut all these holes. I used my craft knife and the paper that I used to print was a little bit thin. That's why it tore a little bit, but it's not important because when I am sticking it, these parts will stick to each other anyway, so I'm not worried about it. Again, I'm using matte medium to stick this on my page. I cut the excess, and again to blend it with the page, I'm using the same color of Faber-Castell pit brush marker to do some shading around the film strip too. You will see that I am covering all the edges and borders of the film strip to make it totally blended with the background. And now, before I do anything else, I just want to stamp the sentiment because I want to make sure of the layout of the page. I'm using this alphabet stamp set from Marianne Design. I really like it. It's hand lettering. And I'm using my archival ink to stamp the sentiment. My sentiment is, of course, from Audrey Hepburn. It's happy girls are the prettiest. It's a sentence that I really believe in. You will see that I'm going to use upper cases to highlight some words and lower cases for the others. This creates also kind of interest on the page. And I'm using my little alphabet stamp set to write her name. I will quickly show you what it is. It's from Dovecraft. It's again a favorite because it's very useful. This page has become very girly as expected, so I said why not use some butterflies as well. I cut these with my digital cutter, silhouette, portrait. I find it very easy to cut some elements with that. And also, in addition, I have this stamp set from Prima, and I chose one of the little butterflies. This film strip looked very empty, so I'm going to stamp some little butterflies inside that. And to make it harmonious, I will also stamp it here and there on my page as well. Now that I know the layout better and where the butterflies will go, I'm also using some modeling paste to give more interest. I chose one of the stencils from Tim Holtz, and I am doing some stenciling with modeling paste here and there. And I'm going to give color to my butterflies in a different way this time. I'm only going to do splashes and I will do the splashes with the 3-4 colors that I used on the page, the 3 shades of pinks and some black. I'm putting some paint on my craft mat, adding some water and then doing some splashes. It is really a very easy way of coloring things. I will also put the digital files down below at the description area of these butterflies too. But it really doesn't matter. You can use whatever stamps you have to stamp and cut, or dies to die cut them. I'm drying these splashes a little bit before I use black. And now I'm going to use black as well to do some splashes. This will also bring the page together because there are pinks and blacks on my page. I am drying it again. And to give some definition to the butterflies, I'm using a black ink, archival again, to go around the edges. I am sticking the butterflies now with matte medium again. And now I'm going to embellish my Audrey Hepburn stamp with pearls. These are pearl stickers that I have in my stash. I just wanted to use them on her necklace and hair and also earrings to give some interest rather than having something flat. Although these are self-adhesive, I don't want to lose them later, so rather than being sorry, I prefer to be safe and use also a glue pen to stick them. And I really like how it looks. It adds very nice details. And since I have pearls on Audrey, I want to give bigger ones to the butterflies as well to bring them together. So I'm using this bow bunny set that has bigger pearls on the butterflies. And I'm going to complete the stamp because I had to cut this. And I'm cutting the excess of this butterfly. Now all that's left to do is to do some splashes on the page. I'm going to do some black splashes to bring the page together. I just diluted it with water a little bit. I covered my Audrey for her not to be ruined, and I'm doing some splashes here and there. I will do some splashes with white as well. This is Ecoline ink. I really like it to do splashes. I don't need to use my paints. It is already ready and it's quite opaque, so I really like it. And I'm going to give a little border to my page just to make it more defined. I'm using my Faber-Castell pit brush marker again. And I'm just drawing a little border and smudging it with my finger. And the page is ready. I really like how it looks, very girly with pinks and butterflies and pearls, and I love Audrey Hepburn, so I'm happy I remembered her while journaling. I wish you all a very happy Women's Day. I hope you liked the video and enjoyed watching it. If you did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up or subscribe to my channel if you didn't already. As I said before, the list of supplies are down below at the description area or in my blog, as well as the close-up pictures. Thanks for watching and see you next time.